What is going on, everybody? How are you guys tonight? Hope you're all doing well. Had some time tonight while I was out here on the road, so I just wanted to pop in, do some chit chatting with you guys, and talk about a few different topics that are coming up, and kind of do like an informational video on how I count my cards that I'm looking to purchase, and would love to hear your guys' thoughts on how you do yours. Everybody does it a little bit differently, but we're going to start today off with the new epack announcement from Upper Deck. We've been kind of wondering this for a while now, like what is going to be the ability to purchase product. You remember the release that they put out there said that you could trade and you could do your achievements and you could do all that stuff. You can transfer stuff to ComC, send it home, all of that. But there wasn't anything in that notice that said the ability to purchase cards after the beginning of the year. And today, Upper Deck finally announced what is going to be happening with that. So we're looking at 8 8 p.m. basically Eastern, so 5 p.m. essentially on the Pacific Coast on December 31st before everybody's ready to go out for their evening shenanigans for New Year's Eve. Um, they got some sets that aren't going to be able to be purchased anymore. So if you're big fans of these, you're going to have to pick them up prior to that. Now, what they're going to do with them between now and then would be speculation again, right? Are they gonna? We've already seen them do Marvel sales quite frequently and quite regularly. They'll switch up the products. You'll see a lot of the products that aren't going to be available after the end of the year are products that they're running a lot of sales on. 50% sales, 75% sales, etc. Are they going to increase those? Are we going to see 80, 90% sales? Possibly. It would make sense for them to continue to try to sell as much of this product as they can up to the 31st. That's why they're putting this out there, but I can also see them doing some pretty massive sales the closer we get to the end of the year. You know, Christmas time hits, maybe they'll do a 75% off a bunch of different stuff at that point in time for that last week. And maybe like the last few days, we start seeing 80, 90% sales. I'm not saying hold on that long because I don't know, but there are some decent sets in here that you could look at as opportunities to potentially get something. Obviously, Defenders and Cyber, that has been on ePack for forever. Um, WandaVision is actually pretty decent as far as the autographs you can pull out of that. We pulled, what's his name? Evan Peters, the guy that played Quicksilver. We pulled his autograph, the only box that we opened of WandaVision on the channel back when we were doing the roundtable stuff. Falcon and Winter Soldier, wasn't a big fan of it. A lot of MCU stuff here. You got Shang-Chi, Eternals, 2021 annual, probably one of their least successful annuals, although that was the year that they brought the backscatters came out, I think, in the 22 set. So this would have been like the last year before the backscatters and the suspended animations. So you got Beginnings Volume 2, Series 1, um, which that's got some mega splash pages that are kind of cool. So that's essentially like the full page of the comic book from the interiors. You got the 89 Marvel edition, the throwbacks. This one's kind of surprising looking at the list. So you got Anime Volume 2 is on there, Beginnings Volume 1, Pack Wars, whichever on that, Allegiance, AVX. So a couple more recent releases here. The Funko Pop stuff, I don't even know anybody that's still opening any of that. Platinum Pack Wars, Studio Hawkeye, and then 22 Pack Wars. So a couple different Pack Wars ones. But for me, the ones that strike me as like something that might be of interest to myself would be like the AVX and then the Anime Volume 2. Um, if I mean, I like the set, but Domino's only got a couple cards, so I'm not like going after anything in the set. But those are ones that to me make sense to kind of keep an eye on. Even the Beginnings Volume 2, Series 1. So again, uh, 5 o'clock Pacific time, 8 o'clock essentially Eastern time on the 31st. You won't be able to purchase those sets anymore. Now, they must have negotiated something here to continue to sell products after that deadline too. Um, so again, they mention here you can ship, you can transfer to ComC, you can trade, you can earn achievements, you can combine items to earn ePack exclusive parallels. But that's only going to be stuff that's already purchased at that point or by that deadline. Anything that isn't purchased, like I said, who knows what they're going to do with that? If they're just going to dump it out there at the last second, like some massive sales, Will says Happy Upper Deck gets to keep selling product for a bit longer. Yeah, I think it's a good thing to kind of make sure that we get the product out there into the wild at least. I think the negative aspect of this right now is how many sets they've released, and it's going to be Christmas time. What's up, Tim? How you doing, man? Hope you're doing well. It's right around the holidays too, so people's money's tied up in Christmas gifts. People's money's already tied up in these 8 million sets that have already been released over the last couple of months, and stuff that they've had pre-ordered forever. Um, Now you do have some sets that are going to be available still to purchase after that deadline, but they don't give us a deadline for it. So subject to availability, basically that just means if there's any still left, and subject to whatever their new negotiated deadline for these sets are. Allure, it's okay. It's all right. It depends what you're looking for. If you're into MCU stuff, this is probably a pretty decent one to go after. The box prices on this physical have come down quite a bit. I think last I saw they were right around 125, 150 for the physical boxes. Marvel Studios What If, Unbound Year 3, I would imagine that got negotiated just because it's a 52-week set and they were doing weekly releases. So they'll probably be able to continue to do that on their weekly basis. They won't have to combine it together at all. Um, Marvel Studios Moon Knight. That was one of the better MCU design sets that I felt was out there. I didn't open any of it, but it looked pretty decent from my eyes. 22, 23 Marvel Annual, of course, that's the first year they did the backscatters. Or no, 21, 22 was the first year for the backscatters. Then you have 22, 23. They changed it to instead of a rounded cornerback scatter, it was a square cornerback scatter. Then the new 23, 24, that is back to a rounded corner. Fleur Ultra Midnight Suns is out there. I think this has kind of slowly been getting opened, but definitely not as popular as some of the other ones. Marvel Flare's out there still. Fleur Ultra Wolverine's going to be out there. Their newer release of the throwbacks 59 to 63 is still going to be there. Unbound Year 4. We talked about this on the live streams quite a bit, and we got a guest coming in here. I don't know if he's quite ready or if he just wants to have the ceiling being shown. He's ready? All right, we'll bring him in. Dre's going to join us tonight. What's up, Dre? How you doing, man?
Yeah, man. It's not the ceiling, it's the drawing board.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't tell if it was a ceiling. It looked like maybe it was like blue crown molding on the ceiling
Oh,
because your hand wasn't over the screen at all, so it's hard to tell, like perspective wise. But so yeah, Unbound Year 4. We talked about that on some of the Unbound streams, on the Roundtable streams. We talked about that on some of the other streams. People talked about that, offline as well. Like, how could you improve Unbound? And one of the things that we had mentioned was just release the entire set. Maybe not all like they did this. They released the entire set right off the bat. But it allows for a greater aspect of trading as opposed to just this instantaneous buy the packs, open them up, turn around and sell them because you didn't get the big hits or you got multiple canvases or whatever. Now, with everything being out there for the entire set, it's going to sell out whenever it sells out, but you have the opportunity to hit every single character every single week. You have the opportunity to hit a sketch card every single time you open a pack, as opposed to, oh, this week's done. Now I got to wait till next week to have another shot at it. I really like the way they formatted the Unbound Year 4. I really do. I think it reduces the amount of this instantaneous have to sell it, flip it sort of situation, and it gives you a greater opportunity to trade with other people to try to build your set out faster. Masterpieces 92 Platinum. I've had some conversations with some people offline on it. This is my personal opinion. I think it was a big miss. Like, I don't have the nostalgia factor with the 92 masterpieces, and that might be sacrilege to the Marvel purists out there. I just don't care that much about the damn set. I get it; it was the first masterpieces set, but 94 Flair is a better set in my opinion. But again, it's just my opinion. It doesn't have to match your opinion. It probably isn't going to match Dre's opinion. Um,
no,
like
it doesn't.
people have, I think, yeah, everybody has whatever their favorite is, and that's fine. I think this set here is a lot of the nostalgia factor. But you're calling it a platinum set, you're calling it a masterpieces set, and essentially it has nothing to do with either one of them because we have PMGs that aren't PMGs in the set. The foiling isn't the entire card. There's this weird white partial border on some of the cards. Like it just doesn't make sense. You just released a platinum set. We'll use what's the gold one, not the golden treasures, but the out of 10. I forget what it is. The gold parallel from platinum was out of 10. But then they made it out of 92 in this set. Okay, well now you're using number formatting that you've used in the Fleer Ultra sets with the 81 for Wolverine and the 63 for the Avengers set. I don't remember what the Midnight Suns one was, but you're using that type of numbering from a Fleer Ultra set in a Platinum set, which has essentially no parallels that match up with the Platinum set. There's the continuity that doesn't go across the sets. I think that's really a big miss on their part there. I understand the band characters, so they supplemented those with the Lost Ladies insert set that was part of that.
But they didn't. It looks like they try to bring the Lost Ladies in, and the only way they could have done it is to pull certain people. So they pulled the Punisher out, but they kept, what's his name, Nomad?
Yeah, I'm not sure what all the only two characters that I know of that are currently banned was Punisher and Nightcrawler, but Nightcrawler's in the set.
Yeah, so is Apocalypse.
But then we don't have Punisher. And you said Apocalypse is in the set too?
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, because that one's got the Adam Warlock error.
Exactly. Yeah, so maybe they meant
back of the cards are switched. So yeah, I mean, for me, it's just not a set that I'm that interested in. I'll watch people open it, but it's not something that I'm going to go after. I'm not going to try to build a binder set of it. But I get the nostalgia factor for the people that do. I mean, I understand it. But it goes back to with even just like the normal platinum set. Like I had similar opinions of that. So like I loved the inserts in it. I loved the colors that were in it. I think they did a pretty good job of building the set out. I like that they had 100 new art images in the set, and it wasn't just all reused art. But as a set builder, I didn't care for the formatting of the set because it was just too much of a sports similar set for me. And I would have rather seen something tailored more along the lines of like the new Women of Marvel set, where maybe you have 8 to 10 parallels instead of 20 parallels per card. That's, again, my personal opinions on it. But I'm sure, everybody in chat have their own, everybody in chat should have their own opinions on it and not just what somebody else says that's on a video. But Dre, what are we working on tonight? Let me see. Let me get Dre pulled up here. See if I can get these cameras. It's been a while. I got to get my.
Yeah, get it together.
Oh yeah. I know this one.
You know what this is.
I know what this is. This is a domino commission that I got Dre working on for me.
I should probably work on it a little bit.
It's only been 9 months, but it's okay. Yeah. No, that's not an accurate. That's a non-contextual statement there. There's no background to that. Dre wants to know what you guys think in chat. So if you're looking at the sketch, tell him what you think. Give him honest feedback.
Tell me what to think. I don't have an opinion. Tell me what my opinion should be on any of this.
Tell me what my opinion should be on the sets. Yes, let me tell you exactly how you should feel about something. Yes.
There's a lot of that.
Do that. We need a little bit less of that in the world these days.
I agree.
So, Tim says, wish they guaranteed parallel number to 50 or less like the original platinum. And that's part of it too, Tim, is I think they, on a per box basis, I think they missed a lot on that. Not only with the PMG miss, but you look at how many hits people were getting out of the platinum boxes, and then this releases, and I was watching a stream last night. I was watching like 4 different streams last night. I think it was Justin maybe said something about 280 something thousand boxes is what they were projecting on this. Oof. Which would make sense, Dre, when you're talking about, they were saying platinum was probably around that 70 to 75,000, 80,000. So if you 4x that, now you're talking about that 280 just by cutting down the number of parallels you're getting in a per box. But now
Yeah.
your case hits. Steve opened up a couple cases, and I think he got 2 red PMGs and maybe a couple cards numbered to 25 out of a couple cases. So it's definitely a much bigger risk with it.
Plus there's blasters
Uh,
in this, right?
yeah. Um, I don't know if they're going to have the blasters. They did
Oh,
put it on their
yeah, there's
notice.
pre-orders available. They're supposed to
There's
be,
pre-orders of it. Okay.
yeah, they're supposed to be on the 18th, I believe. I mean, I can look it up.
Okay.
But
Tim says they should have gotten Just Go involved for at least autos. They should have gotten Just Go involved before they even decided to do it, because just like with the XL set, he didn't know anything about this set coming out. It's like, how do you just went through this with the XL set? As soon as you talked to him about the XL set, when all that was going on, you should have brought this up. Like, it shouldn't have even been a delayed conversation at that point in time. You should have been, Upper Deck should have been, hey, by the way, we're going to release this other set. Let's figure that out now, too, while we got you here. So, blasters have the purple crystals as the exclusives.
yeah,
Okay.
so that's going to mess up the numbers too.
Yeah, it's just all over the place. I don't get it. With Dre's, what Dre's working on here, guys. So oh man, what was it, Dre? Like last April, last May, I reached out and said, hey, I want to get a bigger commission from you.
Last April. It was this past April.
Yeah, last April. It was
Oh,
the
okay.
last April.
Yeah, okay. We're gonna have
Oh,
that
yes,
conversation.
yes.
For most people, that sounds like it was like pre-pandemic.
No, I already did say it was like 8-9 months. So
Yeah.
this past April, I'll say it in
Yeah.
Canadian. This past April, I reached out to Dre and said, hey, I'd love to do a commission with you, and I want something that's bigger. I don't want a sketch card. I want an actual piece of art, because I had seen some of the art that you have done on a bigger format, and I just love the amount of detail that you can get into it. I told him, I said, I really want to do something that's kind of like John Wick movie poster style. Of course, Domino is my character. John Wick's big thing was the death of his dog in the first movie, and Domino happens to have a dog. She's got Pip the pug, is with her. So I gave some kind of criteria to Dre, and I said, hey, I'm not in any sort of rush on this, so if you have to move me down the list to do other stuff, move me down the list. If you have to wait to get to mine, I'm okay with that too. It doesn't make a difference to me. And so Dre's actually started working on this. He's been actually sending me some preliminary images as he kind of did the initial layout to confirm that, hey, this is going to work. Sent me some of the shadowing stuff from Pip the pug, who happens to be down at her left-hand side, so your right-hand side as you're watching this. And I told him, I said, just kind of do what you want with the background. And I'd love to have the background kind of a little bit out of focus, just so that way she is the focus point of the art piece. But Dre, what's the size on this one?
So this is 11 by 17 on a 12 by 18 board.
Yeah. Nice, very nice.
Yeah. So, I mean, Pip is that his name?
Yeah, Pip. He's a couple inches.
Yeah, I mean, Pip is
a pretty decent size. I mean, you figure a couple inches.
3.5. Yeah, Pip is the size of a sketch card.
Yeah, Pip's the size of a sketch card. So I mean, the amount of detail that you can get in that, like trying to take an image like this and shrink that down to a card. I mean, that's essentially like taking like a Just Go piece or any of these pieces that are out there, and then pushing those down to the size of a card. Like the amount of detail you lose in that compression. But no, it's looking great, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I mean, I told you from the beginning, it's a slow burn, but
and I told you from the beginning, it's fine.
Yeah, okay,
no worries.
Glad we're all on the same page.
Exactly. Yeah. So chat, work with the artists, give them some leniency, let them do their thing, give them the basic criteria and guidelines, and let them go with it. But I was on a stream with you and Joseph, and then there was that other Canadian guy that was there too. Perna. Yep, he was there. And you guys were doing some sketching and drawing, which was really cool to see and hang out with you guys in chat. But as that was going on, you and Joseph kind of got into like a little Venoff,
yeah,
sketch battle, and that sounds like that's something you guys might try to get other artists involved in.
Oh yeah, it's all
semi-frequent basis.
Yeah, it's in the works. I'm just trying to figure out some details. It's gonna be sketch card board,
Nice.
right? Got the domain
Very cool.
name, secured the IG handle, the YouTube handle, all that stuff. So
Excellent.
try to
Fantastic.
figure that out, some timing and whatnot. Yeah, I spoke to a few people, and conceptually, they're mostly on board. So I just got
Nice.
to figure out how it's going to work.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is like getting people's schedules to line up, right?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't gotten that far. So to figure out the logistics and how it actually works. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what's the hook? What's the gimmick?
Right.
It's going to have a gimmick, and yeah, just getting all that sorted out. And I don't want to speak out of turn unless Joe's involved. So commit
Yeah.
to something, and then Joseph's going to be like, "What the
Just like,
hell are you
no,
talking about?"
man, that's not
No,
what we
no,
talked about.
no, no, no,
I feel
no.
that way when people ask me about like the mental con stuff. I'm just like, that's not something Jake and I have talked about, like that specific thing. So it's like I had to run it by Jake sort of situation. Um, but yeah, part of this stream here, obviously, chat. If you got topics you guys want to talk about, we can talk about those too. We're just hanging out tonight, discussing different topics that have been on my mind, things that I've heard people saying that they'd love to see, not necessarily for me, but you're getting it from me because nobody else is doing it. So we're gonna show you um, essentially like how I go about doing my comps when I'm looking at cards. And I'm going to actually ask you guys to kind of just give me some cards that you would like to see comped out in honor of our fallen brethren, Mr. Pop Culture, Shane Rowe, who's now like this big time breaker on Whatnot. So shout out to Shane. Get the fuck off me, Shane. Um, we're gonna do a top 10 reveal for you, and we're gonna do it live, so that way you guys can't be like, hey, you're picking out things, but this isn't a regular thing. This is a one time only top 10. So that's all you're getting is a one time only top 10 from me. But yeah, let's take a look here. eBay. Almost everybody out there has eBay, right? If you're into cards, you probably have eBay. You're probably buying them off of eBay. So you're going to log in. You're going to go over here to my eBay. You're going to go to selling. Well, actually, let's just do this. Let's do, you know what? Let's just do, we're talking about 1992 master. No, I don't, I'm not a fan of 92. Let's just do 96 masterpieces.
Hey, so I'm actually glad you're doing this because I need to comp some stuff.
Sure. All right. Well, give me a card. What do you need to do a comp on?
It's a little obscure. I need a comp on the Psylocke bronze Juiceco out of 9.99. That was like £2.
So
Card.
what set was that? That was 2016.
No, it was the promo thing for the book.
Oh, for the book. Oh,
Yeah,
maybe we might be able to find it.
yeah.
We got Unbound. We got Unbound. Let's see here.
FPG Kickstarter. That's the one.
The FPG Kickstarter. Okay, let me
Yeah,
see. Let's
Melfi
see.
knows.
So FPG Psylocke bronze. I'm gonna get rid of the bronze just in case somebody
Yeah,
doesn't put the
let me make
parallel in
sure
there.
I'm not making up.
FPG Psylocke out of 9.99. You want to try to keep it as simple as possible. No matches found. Okay, so that's in the available to purchase options. Nothing there. Let's go into the advanced. We'll click on sold. Let's check that out. See if there's anything that's sold. No matches found on the sold. That's a real quick way to check for comps. But the problem is, so we got 2024 92 masterpieces is showing up here with the Psylocke. Obviously, we didn't get a match for our cards, but we have some Psylocke showing up here for the 92 masterpieces. So we can kind of use that as a test run here for this. Let's see if we can find a couple that are the same. Clear cut, killer cut. Okay, so we got a couple clear cuts here. So you can see here, $35 buy it now, $1.29 shipping, $40 or best offer, $3 shipping. So if I'm looking at this, the first thing that I think of, okay, this is a $40 card, $35 card. It's probably about a $35 card if we average it $37.50. Problem with that mindset is this one right here, this $40 offer, $40 or best offer. So these both sold on the 11th. So it's very possible that this didn't sell for 40 bucks. But when you just go through the eBay solds or you just use 130 point as your baseline, a lot of times you're not getting the actual amount that something sold for. You're also not being told if it got paid for. The only way you can confirm that something got paid for on eBay is if you go to Terapeak. So for that, you're going to go to My eBay. You're going to go to Selling. You're going to go over here to Research right across your top. Go to Research, and you're going to go Product Research. And I'm not going to do an in-depth on Terapeak. We're just going to kind of look at, some basic stuff here. 92, Psylocke. Masterpieces, Clear Cut. So let's try that, see what we come up with here. All right, so we scroll down just a little bit here. We have a sold, and we have an active tab. If there are no solds within the last 90 days, this will only show you the actives. So right off the bat, it's telling us the average sold price is $33. Well, what happened? We had a $40 sale and we had a $35 sale. How's that average to $33? Well, how's it average to $33? Because that $40 best offer card sold for 31 bucks. That's how that averages. But if you didn't go through Terapeak and you went just through the solds on what eBay shows the public facing side of things, which this is available to you. It's free. It doesn't cost anything to have Terapeak. You can see here that
How'd you get that
amount. How did I get it? Oh
yeah,
man,
how did you get there?
I signed up. How did I get there?
Yeah, like
you
through the.
You go to your My eBay.
Yeah.
You go to Selling. You go to Selling, and that's going to take you to your sales page.
Yeah, one second.
Right? You go to Research at the top, across the top.
Yeah.
You go to Research, and you click on Product Research, and it just brings you up a search bar.
So you went to My eBay, Selling,
Research, Product Research.
Yeah, see, I don't have those options.
How do you not have those options?
My interface looks totally different than yours.
Oh, maybe a Canadian thing?
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's overview, sell, draft, scheduled.
Sometimes the international stuff is a little bit different, maybe?
Yeah, it's possible that the research reports, payments, performance, store. I'm wondering because somebody else told me how to do this, and I'm like,
I wonder if you could probably you can Google search Terapeak as well. I'll show you guys how to do the Google search to find it as well. But yeah, so if we just looked at the eBay solds through the advanced search feature, we would have saw a $40 and a $35 sale. If we would have gone to 130 point, we probably would have saw a $40 and a $35 sale. And we wouldn't have known if those got paid for or not. So we'd be using those as comps. But here we can see that the actual sales were $31 and $35. So basically we are at 34 for the best offer one, and we're at 36.29. So using those two cards as an initial comp for a very early release card, currently looking at it, it would be about a $35 card, $33 to $35 card, right? Now, myself personally, let's call this a domino card. It's not a damn domino card. It's a Psylocke card. Let's call it a domino card. If I'm looking at this, I look at the set. I go, okay, I got this domino clear cut, right? So it's not serialized. Sure, they don't come up that often, but there's going to be plenty of them out there. We already know that based on the size of the set. In 2 months, what could this card possibly be worth? So you have to do some forward projection on that, right? And how do you do some forward projection on that? Well, you got to look at previous year sets. So let's take a look here. Let's go Marvel Platinum, Psylocke. Is Psylocke in Platinum? See, I don't even know if Psylocke's in Platinum because I only collect Domino.
Don't remember if she is. I mean, she's obviously in the new one.
Yeah, let's just use nothing. Okay, I don't know if she's in digital tops. Yeah, I don't think she's in Marvel Platinum. Okay, so we're gonna let's use Domino. So because we want to pretend that this is a Domino card, right? So let's just pretend this is a Domino card. Let's do Domino. It's a clear cut. It's probably kind of Rare is not even the right word. It's kind of seldom, I guess. It seldomly shows up. So let's call it a black rainbow as like a base comparison. And we could see kind of like where a black rainbow is here in the last, our filters are set up for the last year, right? So for the last year, we get a chart here. This is when we released. We got sales of black rainbows, and these might not all be black rainbows because sometimes people add words in there. So you can come down here and you can actually remove stuff that's not. So here's a black rainbow blue surge and base lot. We want to get rid of that because it's not just the one card. Um, let's see, black rainbow. Here's a blue tracks. This is another lot listing. So let's get rid of the lot listing. Black rainbow, black rainbow, black rainbow, black rainbow, PSA 10. We got to dump that because it's not a raw card. So see what I'm doing here is I'm just going through and I'm kind of getting rid of the things that aren't direct comparisons for these cards. Okay, so now we've gotten this down. We're just sitting on black rainbows, right? From a platinum set. Full Venom Jacket says 92 plot currently being valued similar to how Topps Chrome around its release, major hype, and the bottom is fall. And we'll get to that, man. Every new set, and you can see it, every new set has some hype and some inflated values to it, but that's what we wanted to talk about here with this. Is you can kind of see where these black rainbow prices are. Now again, this isn't going to be direct comparison to those because it's a Psylocke card versus a Domino card. But I would imagine the clear cuts are probably going to end up somewhere around, maybe it's slightly higher than the black rainbows. They're not going to be super high value for a really long time. You could probably find some other plexi version of a card in another more recent set as well to use as a comparison. But here you can see $6, but you can see on the chart here how the chart has changed quite a bit. We can look at some Topps Chrome stuff too if you want. Anybody know if she's in the Topps Chrome set? Psylocke? I don't know if she is or not. Again, I only collect Domino, so I don't pay attention to what all these other characters are doing. Pick your base, pick your base, pick. There we go. She does have a Psylocke. Okay, so number 52. Yeah. See, that's the tough part because you get these ones here that are like the pick your. You could do a minus sign and get rid of the pick cards. That gets rid of the ones that are the lot stuff. And you can see this massive fluctuation, but again, we haven't filtered it down far enough to like eliminate certain parallels or anything like that. But it has had. Let's use the purple refractor out of 75. See how many of those that we can come up with. All right, so here's the out of 75. You can see the history of the sales here. Started out 44, 44. We got a sale of 51, and then how much it dropped off, and then now where it's at. So you're down here $6, $15, $26. So if you're first to buy, what we say a lot of times, first to market is good for a seller. First to buy is not such a good thing most of the time, because you have a good 50 to 75% drop in perceived value of a card over a matter of a couple months here, for this out of 75 for the Psylocke, between the purple refractor, the yellow refractor, the purple. Yeah, so I mean you've got pretty good drop off on the card values. So pretty much for myself when I'm looking at like Domino cards, and I think a lot of people could use this for whatever character they're collecting too, is unless it's out of 10 or lower at release, just wait. And if you just wait, you're going to get a much better entry point into that card. Whether you're looking at it from an investment standpoint or you're looking at it from sticking it in your binder standpoint, like I do, because everybody does it differently. It's just a lot of times it's just better to wait on the cards because those prices are going to trickle down. A lot of times, even like the 101s, the out of fives, the out of tens, in time, a lot of those will still trickle down some. Now they're going to be a lot harder to come by, that's for sure. just because they're limited in the number that are out there. So it's going to be limited in how many people actually sell those or how often they do. But if you're just patient with it, a lot of times you can get that stuff later on for less than what the initial release costs are of products. I mentioned it with the Masterpieces release. There was a silver Spectrum Auto, the SSA Auto for the base for Domino. I think somebody sold one at release for like almost $1,000 or something like that. And when that sale happened, I said it on one of the streams. I said, these are $200 to $300 cards, maybe 400 for like the CB, very low A tier type characters, right? And the reason I said that is because you can look at 2016 Jusco, 2018 Bianchi, 2020 Palumbo. You have historical data of what a SSA out of 10 auto should be going for of characters. So you can look at those sets and forward project what this Masterpiece's SSA autos are going to turn into for a price. Now, this has the gold variant autos, so there's a little bit difference there. But as a completely transparent here, I bought the SSA silver out of 10 Domino for $340 about 2 months ago. I bought 2 days ago the gold variant auto out of 10 alpha because some people give a shit about whether it's got a 1 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10 out of there when it's still just one of 10 cards. It doesn't have a premium to it to me, but for some people it does, and that fits their collection. Cool. Doesn't work for me. I paid $350 for that for the variant gold out of 10 auto. And I felt that was a very fair price because that's realistically where the card should be at. The only difference is that one is a comic book variant cover and the other is the base card. That's the only difference in the cards. Oh, wait, the color of the ink, right? That other than that, there's no difference in the cards. Exact same thing. So, like I see the people with the plates, like the variant plates are going crazy. But what's the difference between the variant plate and the base plate? Just a comic book dressing. That's it. That's all the difference is. So why is there a $250 plate base plate going for $1,000 as a variant cover plate? Why is it a 4x multiplier? Like that doesn't, to me, that doesn't compute. So what mindset do I take when I see that stuff happen? I go, I'm just gonna wait. I'll just wait because at some point somebody will be realistic about the sale of their item, and eventually one of those might come to me, right? And if it doesn't, I'm cool with that too. I don't. To me, I don't have to have everything. Sure, the fantasy, um, the fantasy goal or collection completist would be I got to have all of them, right? Well, I have a spot in my binder if it becomes available and it's the price that makes sense to me, I'll grab it. If it doesn't, well, then it can sit in somebody else's collection. And I just go, this person has that card. So if I ever get the itch to like have to have that card later on, I'll just reach out to that person. Hey, did you move it yet? Do you still have it? And then update my notes from there. But what are some other cards that you guys might be interested in doing some comps on? Like, there obviously it gets a little trickier when you're talking like out of 10 stuff, right? We could try to. Let's see. I don't know. Let's see if there's any.
I like your childhood innocence where you're trying to bring common sense into the conversation.
Common sense doesn't belong in card collecting, though, Dre.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
It's so hard. It's so hard to. It's so hard. Like, okay, so the term influencer is used, right? Everybody that does any sort of streaming or makes any sort of comment has influence on somebody, whether it's intentional or you're just voicing your opinion. It has influence on somebody. Me talking is not here to influence anybody else to do what I do. It's just offering another avenue to do it. What I personally feel is a healthier way to do it.
It's one man's opinion, right?
Exactly. That's all it is. It's just my opinion. And if you don't like my opinion, oh well, yeah. All right. So we're looking here. We just searched 92 masterpieces out of 10 PMG. because that's the new thing. Everybody's looking at these, right? No, nothing is sold on eBay. We have one listed right now, the Emerald Surge Green Luke Cage out of 10 for $1,000. Now, do we realistically think Luke Cage Green out of 10 in this particular set's $1,000 card? Well, it hasn't sold, so I would say probably not. Now, could we theoretically find another Luke Cage out of 10 in a PMG? Maybe. I don't know if he has another out of 10 PMG. Spider-Man metal, maybe? Yeah, he's 2017.
What?
He's got a 2017 for 860, and I would argue that is a much better because it is a true PMG. Now that was a PSA 9. Now here you can look 2017 Fleer Ultra Luke Cage, Precious Metal Gems. That's a bronze out of 199, so we can remove that. That's not even sold. That's an active. So again, you have, if we look at the solds, we got the Skybox Marvel Metal Avengers green, $200. I would argue this is a better green PMG because it's a true green PMG and not a half-assed, doesn't even have the words on it, not truly foiled as a PMG, not from a metal set.
I was going to ask what your definition of a true PMG is. Right? I think,
and that'd be my reasoning behind the,
because it doesn't say PMG on it. That's why.
Well, it says PMG on the back. It doesn't say Precious Metal Gems on the front. It doesn't have the full, essentially, it's not fully bordered foiling like the other PMGs are. You can argue X-Men Metal screwed up because of the coloring of the foiling and some of the background choices they use there. But that same argument would apply to this new 92 Masterpieces set, in that they didn't crop the character out and put them as the forefront of the PMG. It's just kind of this weird half-assed FX blend. Somebody I was talking to yesterday referred to it kind of like a flipped. It looks a lot like a flipped FX almost, from what set is that? The Beginnings set or whatever. Yeah, and I would say that that's a fair assessment of the look of that card. But again, somebody's asking $999 for the new green Luke Cage out of 10, whereas you could see here out of 10 green from Metal Avengers is $200. Green Metal Avengers, $107. That's Jessica Jones. We can exclude that one. That doesn't apply. Another Jessica Jones. We can exclude that one. That doesn't apply. Green Metal Avengers, $56 for a PSA 7 PMG. Like that was a killer deal there, right? And all of these were auctions. Now we can sort by date too and see that number is inverted. Like it started at 200, then it cut in half 2 months later, almost 3 months later, and then it cut in half again only a couple weeks later for what people perceive that value to be. Some of that is, well, how many character collectors are out there trying to get Luke Cages, right? You can see he had 17 bids, then 10 bids, then 11 bids. Full Venom jacket. Go ahead, Dre.
Remember, there was a period where all these people popped up and you'd get all the DMs saying, "Do you have any PMGs?" Like little crackheads on the corner of the street, like, "Y'all got any more PMGs?" And any PMGs you had, they'd want.
Yeah. I mean, the PMGs got, there's people that love them, there's people that like them, there's people that hate them, and they love them, like them, and hate them for all different reasons. For some people, it made them a shit ton of money because they had them before the hype and the boom. For other people, they hated them because they bought them during the hype and the boom, and now they can't get 25% of their money back out of them.
Yeah.
But again, you have to know why you're buying the card. If you're looking at it from an investment standpoint, you can't be the first one to buy during a spike in a market. Like that doesn't work in stocks 99% of the time. Like, what makes you think it's going to work in cards? It doesn't happen. Being later on to buy, you're going to get a much lower entry point into these, whether you're putting them into a binder or whether you're trying to invest in them. And I just hate to see people continually struggle on this. Full Venom Jacket says someone's asking 1,200 for a Blue Storm PMG from the 92 set in MCCW. And that's another source you could use, like the Facebook groups. But man, that's a lot of work to try to find anything in the Facebook groups. And you got to remember too, like I find a lot of times the Facebook groups, you'll get crazy ask prices, but then the offer prices are like half of what the card realistically should sell for in the first place. So you got people taking different approaches there too. Like you got people trying to maximize their margin so that way they can quote unquote invest in product or flip the product somewhere else or grade it to maximize what they're getting out of it. But curious to see what Josh gets for his Green Venom PMG to set the early market for the big ones. And in all honesty, and with that one being the alpha full Venom, that he should move that as soon as he possibly can. Don't fuck around grading it. Don't just move the card. Because as soon as somebody sells another one, it's going to set the market. But is that market going to see the reduction because of how many PMGs Venom has already? Because he was in the Spider-Man metal set, because he was in previous sets that have PMGs already. The more PMGs we get of characters that are out there, we see it already, the reduction in the value of each one of those continuously coming down and coming down and coming down. I think that does have actual impact on middle aged sets, maybe not on like the 2013, 2015 retro sets, but I think it definitely has impact on similar characters from 2017, 2018, 2020, 2022, 2024. When you're talking the same characters over 4, 5, 6 sets, it definitely does have impact on those previous sets. Again, maybe not the beginning ones, but definitely some of the older ones,
Hey,
or
so
more recent ones.
if you want to pull a fun air quote fun graph up, I got my Terra pack whatever thing figured out. You're going to change it.
Did you find it?
Yeah, I had to go to the .com site, change the
Okay.
URL to .ca. Then it said, "Do you want to use Seller Hub?" I said yes, and now it's there.
Okay.
So change your search to Marvel PMG and last 2 years. Have you looked at this?
Marvel PMG.
Yeah.
Let's go last 2 years. Research. Now, this is going to give us every single card average that is sold on eBay that's a Marvel
That's a
PMG,
Marvel PMG. But what's
or that has Marvel PMG in the title in the last 2 years.
So when
And you can look at the graph.
yeah,
Average
scroll
sale
over
price of
to
$178.
switch over to the total sold graph. The one on the right, the bar, the
Yeah.
pie. Yeah, well, you know which one it is.
Total sold from September 1st, well, the middle of August till now. I mean, look at that.
That's
It's
ridiculous.
insane. And you know what it is? It's Avengers Metal. Avengers Metal 92. Well, yeah, I mean, those were the sets that came out that had PMGs in it, right? So, I mean, but you got to remember too, some of these might be misleading listings. So that's where you can go through, and if you really want to take the time and exclude listings to get a more accurate representation of it, because this is just showing you everything that has the words Marvel PMG in the title. So if somebody's selling amber crystals or whatever, or golden disco balls or whatever, and they put Marvel and PMG in the title, those are showing up on here too.
Yeah. I'm sorting them based on last sold date, so we'll be going back to December 12th.
So if we sort that,
yeah.
So this goes all the way back to December 13th of 2022. You can see a lot of that's going to be X-Men metal, and then the older
Avengers,
the older PMGs. Yep. But here you can see, this is 2022 Marvel Metal Universe red PMG of Spider-Man out of 100, sold for 2 years ago $1,670. I mean, I don't know what that would be, so we could do something like this. We go Spider-Man out of 100. And now we can kind of see the ranges on that. But let's just add the year in there too. So this is we're just fiddling around with this to kind of get a handle on what you want to search for, with minimizing the number of words as well to narrow it down as much as possible. Like if you get overly descriptive in it, you can miss realistic comps as well.
Yeah.
That'll help you either list your card appropriately to sell faster or to get a better entry point into a card. So you don't want to be vague, but you definitely don't want to be overly descriptive as well. So this is a Shriek, so that's not going to be what we're looking for if we're looking for Spider-Man. Because again, it's a Spider-Man metal set, so you're going to have a bunch of stuff that comes up that's not Spider-Man, just because the name shows up. So we got the $1,600 one 2 years ago. Let's see, let's keep scrolling down until we find another. Here's another red, sold for $1,000 just a day later. Actually, we can just enter the card number probably, and that will probably fix it for us. So let's use this one, 164. Let's enter the 164 to kind of narrow it down a little bit at least. So older to newer, 1,670. PSA 7 sold for $986. Another red, $900. So we're almost cutting that in half, and that's a matter of 4 months. $611. That was, another. What was that? That's freaking 10 months difference right there, and we lost almost another $300. And then now we have another PSA 7. May be the exact same PSA 7 as this one. You got to check the cert numbers. $525. So now you lost almost another $100 in a week, and then now another one sold for $676. So this one could be like a condition thing. Like this is a PSA 7. Somebody might have thought maybe I can get a PSA 8 or whatever on this one, so I'm willing to pay a little bit more. But again, that's another 10 months difference in time there. Just back on Halloween that one sold for. But if you look at the first one and you look at the second one, if you bought here for $1,600 because that was released and you got caught up in the hype, and maybe because of the timing, the fact that there wasn't a lot of releases leading up to the Spider-Man metal, it had better PMGs in it than what X-Men metal had in them. It is Spider-Man. So you got caught up in the hype. 23 bids on this. You paid $1,670. A couple years later, you need some money. You're hoping you can get $1,670 for it. You throw it up on auction and you lose $1,000 2 years later, right? Looking at even top tier characters as an investment avenue, long term in Marvel is not a good option, guys. Like everybody keeps talking about what's the value of these cards? What's the value of these cards? Long-term holds 90, again, throwing a random number out there, but it feels like 90 to 95% of the time don't work out in the buyer's favor. The seller loses out on missed opportunities as far as money on the initial sales. First to market on sales is good. First to buy is not a good situation. Be patient. If this was an out of 10 card, I would have said right now, later on, next year, buy the card if you're a Spider-Man collector, if you're a Spider-Man investor, because it's not going to come up very often. But an out of 100, whether there's 90 of them or there's 100 of them, it just doesn't make sense to buy right now. And I have no vested interest in Spider-Man. I think he sucks. There's way too much of him out there. That's my own personal opinions. I think Wolverine is a better option as a character, but people love Spider-Man for their own reasons. And that's cool. Happy for you guys. But I hate seeing people get burned so much because people are out there telling you that this is the best thing to do. This is the best person to buy. This is the best character to get. Why are you buying it in the first place? Is it because somebody told you that you're going to make money on it? Or is it because you actually love the card? Please do it because you love the card, not because you think you're going to make money on it. I mean, there's too many of these things out there. I mean, Spider-Man had what, four PMGs in the set, like 4 different appearances in the cards. Like that's 400 Spider-Man red PMGs, not just 100. It's not like the retro set or the 2017 Thor Ultra Spider-Man. It doesn't make sense to kind of chase some of these higher numbered cards. And 100 is relatively high serial numbering in the Marvel realm. It's not in the sports realm, but it is in the Marvel realm, just because we're a much smaller community. But
But it's also
um,
the amount of hits on some of this stuff, right? Like when you
yeah,
run through a set that's got high series, low series, and parallels, you may end up with like Spider-Man, like 6 different Spider-Mans out of 100,
hmm
right? So there's technically 600 of them, right?
yeah, it's
And
crazy. It's
like I
crazy.
shouldn't be talking about stuff because I don't really collect anything, but
But it's a good point. Like specifically in this set, like we just said, there's 4 different Spider-Mans that have PMGs in this set. There's 2 low series and 2 high series. So you have, I think these actually had 100. I might be wrong. There might only be 90 of each one, but either way, that's 360 to 400 red PMGs of Spider-Man in this set. And you can argue image. Like I see Full Venom Jacket says, I think that's a pretty iconic image. And he's talking about the green Venom that Josh pulled, and you're absolutely right on that. Image has some impact in there, but it's also the only. I think it's the only Venom card in the set that has PMG as well. Like I don't think there's 4 Venoms in that set where those other 3 would impact the value of this specific one that Josh pulled. Whereas in the Spider-Man Metal example, you have 3 other uh, Spider-Man that would affect the value here as well. So then, of course, you're talking, number of bids. Now, this doesn't say how many people bid on them, just the number of bids on there. So, I mean, if it's more recent, if it's within the last 90 days, you can actually open the listing up. So you can see this one from 2023. We can't open that up. That's outside 90 days. But we can open this one from October up, and we can actually look in here. And you'll see all this advertising stuff or whatever for other listings. You scroll down a little bit, you find your bids, you click on your bids, and you can come in here. And this doesn't tell you who bid on them because it's kind of like coded, but you can look at the feedback numbers, and if they match, then it's the same person. So you had this 1087 bid, you had a 116 bid, you had a 1760 bid, 1445, 1953, 190, 3738. You had a 1030. That's the first time we had 2 bids from one person. So there's an odd 28, there's a 686, a 949, and a 580. So this one's a pretty diverse group of people that were actually bidding on this PMG, which you would expect that with Spider-Man. Now, where you run into trouble with these cards is when you see, let's just say these are all 116 all the way up to this first 1030. As an example, pretend these are all 116 feedback up to this 1030, and these are all small increments. What does that indicate to us? Somebody's bidding this up. Somebody's shilling this is what the phrase they like to use. It's being shill bid, meaning it's driving the price up. How can you avoid that as somebody that's looking to buy cards? Well, you can use a snipe app to automatically bid for you. People use those. What sniping is bidding within like the last 3 or 4 seconds. Um, how do I bid on my cards as a domino collector? If there's a card out there that I want, I'll put it in my watch list. If it's a bid, if it's an auction and it has a best offer option on it, I will put a bid in at whatever the entry point bid is, um, to eliminate the offer option on the listing. Because when you bid on a card that's an auction that has an offer option, as soon as it receives a bid, offers can no longer be sent directly to the seller through that listing. You have to kind of circumvent the system and reach out to them through messaging and all that other stuff. But at least for somebody that's looking to get the card, it eliminates that as a possibility of the card going out of your control as a buyer through that route. If it's just a normal auction, there's no best offer on it, then I will wait literally till the last 3 or 4 seconds. I check my watch list every day, and I see that okay, I have 4 cards I'm watching that are ending today. So I set alarms in my phone 5 minutes before. Pull it up. All right, it hasn't passed the amount of money that I would bid on this card or what I want to get this card for. I preset that ahead of time based on the comps that I've looked at. And it might fluctuate up or down a little bit just depending how I'm feeling about it. If something else sold on a buy it now, or I saw something in a Facebook group that sold that was the same card, but generally it's about wherever I set my price ahead of time. Within that last 30 seconds, I'm just keeping an eye on the listing to see if any final bids are coming in. You'll see some trickle in that last couple of minutes as well. But then at like 5 seconds, I've got my bid typed in. I'm ready to click that confirm. I hit the confirm bid. My bid goes through. I either get outbid or I win the auction. But you know what doesn't happen to me? I don't get bid up on my number. If it gets bid up, it's because somebody else let it get bid up. But I can see that ahead of time too. I can click on the bids while the listing is active, and I can see whether or not something is being bid up by a specific feedback number. And if I see that, then I can just be like, you know what, I'm out on this. I'm not going to mess around with that aspect of this because I feel like the card could actually be lower than what it is because this person's bidding this up as opposed to just putting in a bid and seeing if they get it or not. Hey Dan, how you doing, man? Full Venom Jacket says, I feel like there is also whales, aka high rollers, that are in on the early sales and don't give a fuck about the price. They just click buy. But that's the part of, you have to have some sort of patience as well. And then why are you buying the card? Again, you have to look at that yourself individually and go, why am I buying this card for myself? And again, I can only give you my examples and my thoughts about what people are doing. When I'm doing it for Domino, why am I buying this card? Can I wait and just get this card later for much less money? And more times than not, the answer is yes. I did that with the silver autographs, the SSA autographs from Masterpieces. I wasn't paying $1,000 for it because it's not worth $1,000. It's the patience, looking at the other cards that have sold that are similar to other sets, even though they're not similar characters. Go watch a top 100 ranking video of Marvel characters and figure out what tiers the characters are in. There's people have done plenty of those. You don't have to agree with their rankings, but you can see what some people view characters at, right? Um, you can get an idea of where your character ranks based on looking up other characters from the same set and seeing which ones are selling similar to your character. Like if I'm looking up Domino, but she hasn't been in a specific set, I could use Masterpieces as example. Domino wasn't in Masterpieces for 16, 18, or 20. First appearance in the modern one, 2022. I don't have historical Dominoes to look at to see what she's going to be worth. If it's a short serial numbered card, well, I can't use current sales because there's not a whole lot of them. So I've got to find a similar character to her. This newest Masterpieces was a little tricky with Domino just because the art was loved by so many people. So that pushed and or pulled people, whichever way you want to look at that, to that card, to that character, because of how good the art was too. So art does come into it, with how many people desire that image or that card.
But that only plays factor in sets like Masterpieces or Platinum, where it is original art. When you end
Right.
up
When you're
with like
talking
a
reused comic
reprint,
art,
yeah,
yeah. A prime example for me for Domino, Dre brings that up, is the Platinum set.
which is
Card number
great.
107. Card number 107, 2019 X Force number 7. Dustin Weaver did the art for that one. It's the exact same art from the low series of the X-Men Metal set, except zoomed in and
Oh,
twisted a little bit. Like it's the same art, it's the same image. There's no difference. So I could use X-Men Metal as a baseline for parallel comparison for the new Platinum set. And if I wait, I go, okay, I can get these Platinum cards cheaper just by waiting, A, because of how many there are. But you get down into that 175-ish range, 50 range. You can kind of use X-Men Metal as a comparison because you had the pinks and you had the red PMGs, which were kind of rose colored or whatever. But you had some cards there that you could use as a baseline comparison for some of the serial number, you know, one for one. Not the same because it's, hype around the set and all that. But even then, like Platinum was a weird one for me because I got a lot of my low numbered domino cards within the first 2 weeks. And then the numbers, as far as dollars, started to go into that product
well,
and it actually went up.
it's weird
Now
because
people are starting
Platinum
to see it trickle.
seems like it was a slow start on that set.
It was, yeah.
There
'Cause
wasn't
people,
a
I
lot
don't
of
think people
sites for
really
it.
were sure what to expect out of it.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then like people were
and then
looking at the checklist going, "Holy freaking parallels! Like, what are we doing here?"
yeah, because there was a lot of like this set is insane. There's way too many parallels. But then the cards started coming out. A couple of sketches popped
Yeah,
up. That
yeah,
Sienkiewicz Thor popped up, and I think people just lost their mind.
yeah. Now I do have a question for you, Dre, on that, and for chat. If the original platinum set would not have had as many numbered hits in the boxes, but only had one numbered hit guaranteed to 299 or less. Well, what's the 92 guarantee to? I don't even know if there is a guarantee on it.
Yeah.
But whatever it is for the 92 set, what if um what if the original masterpiece or original platinum was guaranteed the same way? Like you're going to get one numbered card in a box. Like
Well, the
would
values would have
people
been all over the
it would
much better.
would yeah, for somebody that's buying it would have been much better, right? Because you're not getting as many hits or potential bangers, I guess, out of a single box, and then you had the blasters getting out of tens, out of fives, out of 101s, pulled out of those, which I absolutely love that. I love the fact that all the products had an opportunity to hit some of the best cards in the set. Now I do feel that you have a Blue Surge retail exclusive that you can't get in the hobby boxes, and have something that's hobby exclusive that you can only get in the hobby boxes. But to be able to have the opportunity for everybody, regardless of what your entry point into the product was, to have an opportunity to hit a 101, I think that was a fantastic move by Upper Deck. Whether it was intentional or their packers screwed it up or whatever the reasoning was, it was fantastic to see that from the blaster boxes. But, let's see here. All right. Chat,
So,
do you guys have a pretty good grasp on the Terra Peak?
sorry, because we were talking about platinum, and I was
Yeah, go
putting all
ahead.
my platinum in a box today. So I bought 2 boxes. Shit, I just threw them on the floor. I bought 2 boxes of platinum. Hit a Well, I bought 1 box of platinum. Hit jambalaya. Was it jambalaya? I think
Yeah,
in the first
the
one.
hockey rink shaped cards.
Yeah. I hit a jambalaya in the first one, so I sold that and bought another box. And I did have a couple of other ones, but out of 2 boxes of platinum, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 number cards left. Like I sold a couple of them,
Yeah,
and another auto, and I had another auto that I sold.
it was
Out of two
plat-
boxes, like almost every pack had a numbered card in it or some
yeah,
crazy
and that's
thing.
I think that's what changed a lot of people's opinions on the set. Like I didn't really ever change my opinion on the set. It's not the format that I like, but did I enjoy opening it? Absolutely, because it was just so fun to open. But it doesn't mean I have to like the formatting of it. And the reason I don't like the formatting is because I like to put binders together. But what it did do is it allowed people to put sets or collect numbered sets however they wanted. There was so much of it for people to do, which was great. But again, we saw it with platinum. Even you know you get out of 799s, out of 499s, out of 399s, out of 199s.
Yeah,
Initially going for inflated prices because it's a brand new release. Well, maybe not initially, but once it got that push, where everybody is going crazy for it, those started to go up in value, and even then they came down quite a bit to where they're lower now in most cases than what they were on initial release even. So again, it panned out that if you are patient for anything over 10, you're probably going to be able to get it for a lower price. What do we got here? Chats. Full Venom Jacket says box hits. Okay, so this is for the 92 set. He says base sets, parallels, variants, blue tracks, clear cut, rainbow, leather, lenticular variant cover, rainbow parallel corner box creations, fantastic covers, and or battle spectrums. Yeah, so a lot of different boxes. So you're getting a lot of different insert hits, but you're not getting like the numbered hits that you were getting in the original um, platinum release, right? what do we do? We lost all of our screen there. All right, let's go. We'll just go back up here like that. Um, and some of these, man, full venom. Some of these, like the blue tracks, not being numbered, but they were out of 499, right, in the original platinum. Why can't we just have some consistency? Why does it have to be different? A canvas, a leather. There's the wood, and those three from a distance, they look exactly the same until you get them a little closer or you have them in hand where you can feel some of the texture that's on the card. I mean, other than that, to me, they looked exactly the same from the breaks I was seeing. And unless the person breaking it said what it was or showed the back of the card, like you couldn't tell the difference, like on camera, what those were. Um, I've heard some people like the lenticulars, which are kind of, if they like them, cool. I didn't really see any of them, so I can't speak to whether or not I liked them or not. But it doesn't matter if I like them. If you like them, cool. If you don't, cool. Um, there's this is from DNA, no wording on any guaranteed numbered card. And you know what? Honestly, I think that's one thing that us as Marvel fans, moving to tops with that licensing, I think us as Marvel fans are going to miss Upper Deck. Their boxes say on average, but yet they still tried to honor their on average. So even when you have a Scandell box where you get 4 red PMGs and 3 out of 1 pack, somebody else that was shorted is getting a replacement card, right? They they were fantastic with the replacement system that they had. Sure, it might have taken a little while to get your replacement card, but for the most part, they were pretty fantastic. I had a Superior Spider-Man red PMG from Spider-Man Metal that I sent in because it was pretty bad flaking on the foiling on the face of the card. And they sent me back a Green Goblin red from 2013, which I traded with a Green Goblin collector that got the Domino red. So my Superior Spider-Man flaking PMG turned into a Domino red PMG from 2013. So it worked out in my favor in that instance. Other people, maybe it hasn't worked out so well. I think we're going to see as they're winding down the Marvel license with Upper Deck, I think we're going to see some good replacements coming out, because what are they going to do with those cards if they don't hand them out as replacements? They're just going to be sitting there. So I think we're going to see some people posting some come ups on the replacement system. I think that's going to happen. Manu, what's up, man? How you doing?
Manu
Says Cardsmith Breaks has the same info. Okay, yeah, same thing. Manu says he opened by boxes. The wood and the leather look terrible. I agree. To me, we didn't need those. Some of the cover cards are so damn good. I really like the cover cards, like the variant covers, like the comic book cover cards, like the iconic covers from Platinum. I really like the comic book cover stuff, whether it's variant or insert comic covers. I think they look fantastic. Absolutely. The rainbow cover cards and the cover variants are excellent. Yeah, I think um, just like the base Platinum set looks good. Yep. People saying hi to Manu. So, yeah. So we showed Terra Peak on how to kind of look at that. Again, if you just go to the advanced and you go to sold, you're not going to get the realistic number on a lot of the listings, especially if it has a best offer option on there. More times than not, it's not going to match up with the actual sold price. Those also don't tell you whether or not the card got paid for. 130 point is hit and miss. Sometimes 130 point is pulling the proper data in and they show you the exact sold price. Sometimes they're pulling in cards that are just marked as sold but didn't actually get paid for and then end up getting relisted. Terra Peak is probably the most consistent and most accurate way to look for comps. And then you can use the groups as a supplement, I feel. If you're in there enough and you're looking at that sort of stuff and you're watching who's buying what, you can get an idea of what cards should sell for or will sell for down the road. So, Manu says, "What's up, Trey?" Manu says he's with me. All right, cool, man. Yeah. If not, hey, that's cool too. I mean, I'm sure there's things that we don't agree on, but you know what? That's the fun of this whole damn thing is you don't have to agree. We can just, hang out. We can just hang out.
You're either with us or you're against us. There's no middle ground here.
Is that the new Canadian mantra now? Is you're
Yeah,
either with us or you're
yeah,
against us. We're closing the border.
that's it.
So
Well, shut up
all
on
you
my phone.
Americans can stay home.
Please stay home. So,
Come on, Dre. Tony said I can go to his place.
do you want to?
No. I don't want to see him walking around drawing little peckers in his sketch cards all day. Tony, I'm sure you'll watch this later, but we love you, man.
So you've been around. You've been around the hobby for a bit, right? Like, if I remember correctly, you dabbled when you were younger too, right?
Yep, I dabbled when I was younger. I was mostly into sports cards when I was younger,
Oh, okay.
because it was Jordan years. But I did get into some Marvel stuff, nothing that I held on long term to. I got back into cards in 2020, like the majority of the people did. I knew sports cards existed still, but I didn't know that Marvel cards existed still or
Okay.
again, whichever way you want to look at it.
So I'm gonna show you something. It's not Marvel, and I'm just looking in the chat, like who would know what this is, and I think Off White Tim would know what this is. I could be totally wrong. Everybody could know what this is.
Even if you don't, he would say that he did. All right, let me get you a little bit bigger here. There we go. Xenophile starter deck. I don't know what that is.
The adult-only trading
Adult.
card game.
Okay.
60 game cards and rules per pack. These were $10 US. I used to work in a comic book store when these came out. Not for sale for minors. I never really understood how you play the game, but it's got some hilarious cards. And the art's actually really cool. Some of it's inappropriate for children. But like players may look face down cards before deciding which way to flip them face up. So it's kind of has that Magic the Gathering feel.
Okay.
But it's all mature subject matter.
Gotcha.
And I remember there was one here called I don't know what it is, but we like it.
That's what it's called. I don't know what it is, but we like it.
Yeah. I was cleaning and I came across it.
I'm gonna keep you full screen, but go ahead and see if you can
there
find
it is.
that one.
There it is. We don't know what it is, but we like it. Art by Jim Woodring. And it's we don't know what it does either card. So I don't know how you're supposed to play this.
That's interesting.
Actually looks like something out of Rick and Morty.
I wonder if there's another card in the set that has something to counter whatever that is. So, or if you're just playing that just because. Manu says related to that. Oh, okay. I think we're okay. Let's. I follow you, Manu. I think we're on this one here, and then we're carrying that conversation from chat here. Justin didn't agree with me on his stream last night, but I hated the fact that they changed the serial numbering for especially the seismic golds. That comment right there, I 100% agree with. You took a gold out of 10 and you made it out of 92 when you could just take whatever the new out of 10 parallel is and made that 92 and still had the golds as out of 10 to have consistency across the I'm a big consistency across the set kind of guy. I understand small changes to design, coloring. Maybe you boost the color, which it looked like they boosted the gold. It looks a little more yellow now. It pops a lot more throughout the card. But the changing of the serial numbers is a big miss for me. Let's see. He says the structure of the serial number layout is how we account for value, and we literally just had platinum. Why are we changing it? Exactly. I 100% agree. Why are we changing it already? Manu says related to that, I noticed that the red PMGs were out of 100. They didn't continue the 99 numbering on those. Not sure how they made their choice. I don't. When we talked a little bit earlier on the stream, they pulled so many different elements from so many different sets. Like they showed us certain images of PMGs for the set on the sale sheet. What does the sale sheet do? Sale sheet entices people to buy the product. Their pass on that is that they put the little thing on there that says photos are subject to change, right? That's their little legal, hey, we're good, we're covered. But you enticed people to buy your product with misleading images. You took serial numbering from Flair Ultra sets, 63, in the Avengers set, 81 and the Wolverine. Again, I don't remember what the Midnight Suns one was. You change serial numbering from your recently released Platinum set to your second released Platinum set. You have the only thing that's masterpieces in this is the fact that it's Joe's art from 92 masterpieces. Like there's nothing, there's no canvas galleries, there's no, there's nothing that's pulled from recent masterpieces stuff as an insert for a masterpieces / platinum set. Like there, it makes zero sense, and I can't I can't fault the company for trying to make as much money as possible. That's exactly what they're supposed to do. But us as collectors can fault the company for screwing us time and time and time again.
We just keep on saying, please, can I have some more?
Yeah, we're just like, hey Diddy, give me some more lube.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god, that hurts so good.
The art is sick and the variants and the golds look sick, but the layout is whack. Yeah, I think for me the worst part about the layout is when you look at the PMG versions of the cards where they're not fully foiled PMGs. Where it's this weird partial border, partial foiling. You have I think one of the cards that people have been showing is the Thing. Like how do you even do that in a PMG when the entire card is the character? Like there's no border, there's nothing. It's this zoomed in, just the face of the character. Where would you put any foiling in that situation? Okay, so it's a PMG because it says PMG on the back and it's numbered out of 100 or 10 or whatever they did with them. So yeah, it's a little weird to me. Things that I definitely think they missed on. But we showed some Terapeak stuff. We talked some different sets. I hope the Terapeak stuff was helpful for anybody that's watching this later on. I know most of the people that are in chat right now have a really good understanding of how to look up comps. But this is, also for people down the road that might find this video when they're searching YouTube and going, hey, how do I look up comps? And hopefully they find this, they get to that point. We'll split this off and we'll split that part out and share it in a separate video for them, so that way they can have a more narrowed down video for that. But similar to X-Men Metal with too much image, no foiling. Exactly. Too much metal, too much image, not enough foiling. And that's what people want this for. Venom Gold's new. Oh, I think you're asking if he's got any. Manu says he's going to wait patiently for graded stock to hit the market. Then I'm going to wait another month, and then I'm going to buy the 4 cards. Dude, patience. You preach it with your comic book stuff. I try to talk about it here in the card realm, and it catches on with some people. Other people it doesn't. But patience is a virtue, and you will win more times than you'll lose if you are just patient. Manu, we got to have you back on here sometime too, so we can get some comic book chat. I think getting you and Daniel Valor Comics on here would be fantastic to have a nice conversation about some comic book stuff with you two, because you guys both have so much knowledge there. But Dre, how are we doing on the commission there?
Good. I got distracted reading some of these cards because some of them are genius, and I need to incorporate this into Sketch Wars.
There you go.
Because this card says throw this card as far as you can. If it lands where you can find it, pick it up and throw it again. Yeah.
So don't be drunk when you're playing this, and don't be throwing the cards into the fireplace. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, I guess. There are cards here to tell you to remove articles of clothing. So it's that kind of deck.
Yeah. Not the live stream worthy play the game on camera sort of situation. So you're saying we're not going to do this?
Probably not. I mean,
Jake would probably.
I was just thinking because I think I have another.
He would want to play this at MentalCon.
Yeah. You may physically destroy this card and take another turn.
That would be exactly what we don't want to see during MentalCon or any stream. Really, is Jake having to remove articles of clothing. That's for sure. But,
yeah. Oh, sorry. The commission's coming along.
Yeah, let's take a look. How are we looking? That's looking great, man.
So let's do some circles.
Yeah, that's looking really nice.
Yeah, so I just gotta block in the shades in pencil, then block in some of the shades in the background.
And that the reason you're doing the blocking in the shades is so that way when you come back with the color, that you have a really good idea of where you want your highlights and everything to be.
Yeah, because once I block in all like, and it's not smooth pencil lines, as you can see on the dog. It's just enough for me because I'm gonna do a color wash over the whole thing, and then I'll know where, to your point, what's dark, what's light for the
Now,
shadows. And looking
for us non-art people, explain color wash. What is a color wash? I've heard you say
color
that
wash
several times.
is when you have here. I'll do one. It's like when you have pencils or inks, so like this, right? So let's say that's my type pencils, and I'm gonna. Now that's on a shitty paper, so it's gonna buckle like crazy, but it doesn't matter. Then I just getting a brush ready. Pick a color, any color. In this case, I'm gonna go with another color, not blue. Can I get not blue? Why is it I only have blues available? Go with red. And I don't want to go with blue because it's blue like so. So it's. Is this on camera? No.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, okay. And just do one color pass over the whole thing.
Okay.
And usually do a neutral or mid-tone color. So neutral being something that's not overly saturated, or mid-tone, not like a bright pink or something like that. And it just, what it does, it creates a grounding layer to the entire image. So now all your darks are already predefined because that's what's underneath. So really what you could do now, and this is very similar to the way Palumbo did his prelims in the red and the black, where you only use a darker value, like a darker version of your tone to do the general darks, and then a lighter version being just mixing some white to do your highlights. And you get, it's sort of monotone, but because you're not really using like black and white, using browns with black and white or reds with black and white or blues or whatever color you want, it has a more natural feel. And
now, how does that work when you have to go like super light colors, like with the white? Does that have any impact on the whites and stuff like that you're using?
No, because white, I mean, this works with oil and acrylic and maybe gouache because you can get the paints to be opaque. So if I just put in some white, right, and I want some solid white, for example, yeah, this paper is falling apart, but right. So if I wanted to bring in some highlights, I could do just mix some white with the red, which is essentially pink, right? And I know my highlights are just by the pencil drawing or the ink drawing underneath. Right? There's a highlight there. There's a highlight there. Right? And it's a kind of color by numbers at this point. Because I know what light works.
Most of the time, we're not truly getting like an actual like white with the images, unless it's like part of the costume or something like that, right? Because you're getting the different skin tones and the light reflections from whatever your source are changing kind of that tone of the skin.
Yeah, I mean, with paint, really, the pure white is only going to be where there's pure light. So where you have a light reflection, like hitting on metal, but you're never going to have pure white, like even on a white shirt. It's not white. It's going to be a light gray or blue or whatever colors around. But like with this little Green Lantern guy, really the only white areas would be probably like a little highlight in his eye. And if his mask is shiny, like just some rim lights around there. And then the rest of it is going to be just darker values of the red.
Very cool. Yeah, good explanation. Makes sense.
Not really.
It did to me. I mean, I was asking it more for me, but I mean, it might be helpful for somebody else that's heard the term before and wants to know what you're talking about. So awesome. Well, cool, man. I think that's kind of what we wanted to cover tonight. I wasn't expecting you to be working on the commission tonight. So that's kind of cool to be able to see kind of some of the progress and how that's going along. Well, awesome. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, no problem. Like I said, I got to work on it, so I was going to work on it anyway.
You're bound and determined to make that paperwork work there too, aren't you?
Yeah, I should really just throw this away, but I have commitment issues. Right?
Way to go. Way to
Yeah,
go.
if I don't
But
put this away, I
cool.
go back to my painting, to my drawing.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Dre. Appreciate you coming out and hanging out with me tonight. Chat, thanks for stopping by and being part of the stream. I do want to do more of these hobby hangouts. Little tough when I'm on the road because I don't really know what my schedule is from day to day. But I do want to do more of these. Manu, like I said, I'd love to have you and Daniel on sometime. Or even if Daniel can't make it because I know he's got a busy home life and everything. Um, just so we can chat some comic books and kind of get an idea of what's going on in the comic book world and you know thoughts and opinions on different stuff and grading and modern books and all that other stuff. So, but guys, appreciate you guys stopping out. Thanks a lot. That's it. That's all I got. I suck at these wrap ups, so we're just gonna call it a night. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time.
All right. All right.
Bye.